All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, trying to do a video talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. Behind the scenes, I do multiple takes of things, and sometimes they just don't work out. Going to be talking about the whole Pink Floyd feud, the difference between David Gilmour and Roger Waters these days. It's pretty intense. These two guys have very different opinions on everything. David Gilmour has a new song out there, and it's always going to kind of raise awareness to that old band that is, I think, no longer in existence. That would be Pink Floyd. Now, before we get to that, here's a band I've been promoting quite a bit. They're called the Crows. Maybe bad timing for the Crows because the Black Crows have a new album out there. So this is going to get lost in the shuffle. This is called Ready When You Are. This is melodic rock, and it's just super well done music you could sing along to if you're driving in the car and you buy one of these CD coasters. You put it, if you still have a CD player in your car. I've got people telling me, Dave, I don't have a CD player. And I'm going, yep, I know. I know. Just stream it from your phone. What can I tell you? Anyway, the Crows, really great, really excellent music, and you should check it out. Now, I was checking out David Gilmour's new song. It's called The Piper's Call. I would go listen to that. It's good. It, of course, sounds a bit like Pink Floyd music, but there's differences for sure. But you could certainly listen to it and think, okay, this could be new Pink Floyd music. It's kind of weird how Gilmour didn't try to revive the franchise. I think he had a couple of Ukrainians on the last Pink Floyd song, which is kind of weird, which, of course, kind of dovetails into this conversation about Gilmour and Waters. Waters, of course, is out there being very pro-Palestine and has taken a very strong political position. He's also not down with the whole sending tons of money to Ukraine to fight Russia, whereas Waters and his wife, Polly Sampson, are both very pro-Ukrainian. So you've got this rift, this split, which, I mean, it doesn't matter all that much. And you can kind of go back in time and see within the lyrics of certain Pink Floyd songs where Waters is coming from and where David Gilmour is coming from, and they just disagree. And now it's more like a public battle of words. Polly Sampson, the wife of David Gilmour, reveals that she wrote lyrics for the Division Bell, which I didn't know. I did not know that. She said she didn't want her name on it because we just lived in a time when things were really sexist. Now, what was that, like 94 when that came out? I lived through 94. I was there. It was no more sexist than any other time, really. You have to go way back probably to get true sexism, like 1955 or something. That's the way I see it. But a lot of people see things differently than I see it. And my takes aren't always the best takes, but she could have put in her name. She could have put her name on the stuff from the Division Bell. She's also co-writing on this new album called Luck and Strange, as she has done before. Still, it is publicly known that Roger Waters is uncomfortable with her contribution to the previous Pink Floyd albums. In a 2021 interview with Rolling Stone, Polly revealed how Waters had made fun of Gilmour for receiving help from his wife. She said, I don't hide anymore. The first time I wrote lyrics, I got a pretty bad response from David's former lyricist, which really kind of stung me at the time. It shouldn't have, but I didn't know anything about these things at the time. When I first wrote lyrics for the Division Bell, I didn't want my name on it. Again, because she says sexism. In fact, the angriest fan of all was the person who said, "Oh, how tragic getting the wife to write lyrics." And I wasn't even his wife. Yeah, there are, she wasn't married to Dave at the time, apparently. Anyway, what difference does being married make? Exactly. I mean, look, um, I can't be super critical about the way these people organize their lives. And I don't know, some people, they've had bad experiences with marriages, so they decide they don't want to get married. And, you do have to sign these agreements when you get married, especially if you have a lot of money. So I get that. But I don't know. She's kind of taking this in a whole different direction. She says, "I felt like I hadn't really wanted to stick my head above the parapet." Not sure what that word means, but anyway, Dave forced me to do it. The husband said, or the not husband said, "You've got to write lyrics or you've got to come out from hiding." Gilmour also commented on what his wife had to say. "Initially, she was trying to make me write the lyrics and just be there to nudge and remind and critique, but I quickly forced her into a more prominent role, which she then had to take some credit for." When Waters was accused of anti Semitism and it led to the cancellation of some of his concerts, Polly Sampson criticized the bassist on Twitter, or X, by calling him a Putin apologist, lying, thieving, hypocritical, misogynistic, anti Semitic. She later also said she didn't regret her words against Waters. So, as you could see, things aren't good between Waters and Gilmour, and it's sad because fans of this music would love to see those two guys get together. They could do it for charity. They could, I mean, and then you've got Nick Mason out there who has said on numerous occasions that he'd love to get together with those two guys and do something. Call it Pink Floyd again, tour the world. Of course, Waters wouldn't be able to really do what he's doing now, which is raise awareness for Palestine. And Gilmour, I'm sure, wouldn't be able to put up with that. So there could never be a Pink Floyd reunion in that sense. These two guys are on their own musically, they're on their own politically. Some would say Waters right now is not doing well because people predominantly don't favor his point of view. Um, and redoing Dark Side of the Moon, it was awful. It was a very bad idea. I'd be willing to listen to some new Roger Waters material, but to redo a classic album that really shouldn't be touched. I mean, it's like, let's redo Abbey Road. No, you just can't recapture that kind of magic, and you can't do your spoken word John Mellencamp style performances and expect people to be all gung ho about it. I get it. You want to make a statement, and most of this music you were a part of originally, although I'm sure Gilmour would take issue with some of the stuff that Waters is saying about the original Dark Side of the Moon. I'm pretty sure Dave had a very prominent role in making that album. And David Gilmour has great musical instincts. And so this is where it gets difficult, because out of the two guys, Waters is more the John Lennon character, and Gilmour is more the Paul McCartney character. And I'm just throwing some stuff out there. I don't know if people agree with it, but Paul McCartney is like a slot machine. You just pull the lever and here comes out another amazing song. It's just, whereas John Lennon, sometimes you get a couple of lemons, sometimes you get, a decent song. But the bottom line is, I think this feud will fuel interest in both of these guys. If you like what Waters believes, then you follow Roger Waters. If you like what David Gilmour believes, but also if you're more hitched to the music, which this is why people do this in the first place. Like they go out there and they put this music out there and people go, "Hey, I like the music." And then they think, "Oh, okay, what is he singing about?" That's kind of like a secondary thing until it gets so in your face where you're just like, "Okay, that's too much." And a lot of people are like that. They want to escape for a little while. They don't want to be preached at or lectured to. They just want to go out there and get away from it. And a lot of people on this channel will tell me, "Hey, I used to like Roger Waters, but he's just too much. He's just too over the top." And some people will complain though about David Gilmour and his support for a very corrupt country and sending billions of dollars to corrupt countries where there's no accountability for where that money goes. That's what David Gilmour and a lot of people here in this country are doing right now by just blindly supporting Ukraine. So there is error on both sides. I'm an equal opportunity offender here. The feud will continue. The war of words, especially because David Gilmour has music out there and he's going to have this whole album coming out. So I'm sure people are going to scrutinize the topics. There might even be a song about Roger Waters in there. Who knows? That'll be interesting if that happens. Anyway, I'm out the door here before I go. The Crows and Ready When You Are. This sounds nothing like Pink Floyd. So you can, if you're not a Pink Floyd fan, and I have a few people on here that are more into the mainstream melodic rock stuff, and I get where you're coming from. Um, Music, though, is very subjective on certain days. I like to listen to certain things, and sometimes I get tired of those things, and I will move on to something completely different. And so, hence, the next video hopefully will be different than this one. Please watch the videos. Thank you for putting up with this channel. God bless everyone. Pray for peace, right? In the Middle East. Doesn't matter if you're a Gilmour fan or a Waters fan. Pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world. And I will talk to you soon.